The university, the exact spot where Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is being ripped up and paved over. While the FBI is claiming that they are still doing an investigation and turning over every leaf, one of maybe the most important places will not exist much longer. We're also going to be looking at a new video that surfaced on X that appears to show a bullet flying by Charlie Kirk's left knee. That would line up with the theory that people are going with, that he was hit on the back of his right side and it exited where the FBI is telling us there's an entry wound, which doesn't make sense at all. Anyway, we're going to touch on that and more in this video today. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ashley Brianna Eve. You can look at me as a PR strategist gone rogue. I'm obsessed with seeking the truth and uncovering the strategy behind the headlines. We're focusing on the Charlie Kirk assassination and the lens of media manipulation and narrative control that is happening since his death. Let's get into first the video that has surfaced of the location of his assassination being paved over. This video was shared with me, and I don't understand how you can have the FBI claiming that they are turning over every single rock when at the exact same time, the site of his assassination is being paved over. It says here, crews are working to remove the ground area where Charlie Kirk was shot on the campus of UVU. The area will be replaced with brick pavers. Well, if the bullet that they are telling us killed Charlie Kirk isn't the bullet, why are they paving over this spot? To me, it adds more questions than answers in a case that already doesn't make sense. In fact, let's look at the latest statement from the FBI. Just on the 21st, the FBI Director Kash Patel said, as the director of the FBI, I'm committed to ensuring the investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination is thorough and exhaustive, pursuing every lead to its conclusion. Well, apparently not, because they are currently ripping up the ground where he was assassinated. It continues, the full weight of America's law enforcement agencies are actively following the evidence that has emerged, but our efforts extend beyond initial findings. We're examining every facet of this assassination. We are meticulously investigating theories and questions, including the location of where the shot was taken. Well, that's interesting because I just saw a video that shows them tearing up that spot. How are you supposed to do that, Cash? It continues here. The possibility of accomplices, the text message confession and related conversations, Discord chats, the angle of the shot and bullet impact, how the weapon was transported. Good question. We'd all like to know. Hand gestures observed as potential signs near Charlie at the time of the assassination, and visitors to the alleged shooter's residence in the hours and days leading up to September 10th, 2025. What I need you to know is that there were out-of-state cars with out-of-state license plates at his house, at his residence, in the days leading up to September 10th, 2025. Some details, he continues, are known today, while others are still being pursued to ensure every possibility is considered. Our primary focus is to complete this investigation and deliver justice. To protect the integrity of the investigation and subsequent prosecution, we cannot release every piece of information we have to the public right now. We will ensure every question is addressed at the appropriate moment. Regarding specific details, such as questions about the plane that allegedly turned off its transponder after departing from the airport near the assassination site, we can share updates when answers are confirmed. After interviews with the pilot and consultant with the FAA, we determined the transponder was not turned off. Incomplete flight records and data in rural areas caused the apparent gap. So, guys, the transponder did not turn off. It was a rural area. There's a gap. Now, look, I live in a rural area and I can understand how sometimes technology, because of access to the interwebs, is just not working with you. Today has been one of those days. And how many coincidences can you put on this case before people have every right to be asking questions? So it's just another coincidence. It's just another coincidence like the one where the book on Amazon that was published about his assassination on September 9th, it was just a glitch. It was actually done September 10th, just hours after. his assassination, when Amazon takes 3 to 10 business days to turn around a book having been submitted and actually published on Amazon, that makes complete sense. So is it just another one of those glitches? Because these gaps are adding up and they don't make sense. And I'm tired of people being called conspiracy theorists for saying that it doesn't make sense, because it simply doesn't. Now, as a follow along to this, when we're looking at the timeline of what they want you to believe and why I am so passionate about them not pulling up that spot and paving over it, I came across a video over on X, and it shows apparently a bullet going past Charlie's left knee. Let's look at it now.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's a projectile flying super, super fast, and it goes right in between his legs near the tip of the microphone. Like, everybody that's saying that it's an injury wound now and that we're just all crazy and it's a conspiracy, bullshit, man. Bullshit. Look at the angle. It's an exit wound. The bullet passes right between his knees. I mean, what else is it? If it's something else, I'll come back and I'll apologize. I'll be, hey, I had it all wrong. But from my experience, and I've seen vapor trails as a sniper, I know what bullets look like in the air. I can see a bullet going downrange and hitting its target. It has to be, you generally has to be the right environment, but you can generally see it if you look right over it. It's called the vapor trail. You can see that bullet. That's a bullet. And if it's not, what else is it? Going straight into the ground in front of Charlie. Follow for more. This is.
Let's watch that again. And it just so happens to be the exact shot, the exact line that it would be taking if it was, in fact, based on the video I showed yesterday, someone, a sniper, off to the right behind Charlie, not someone in the front. Now, it just seems more suspicious, if you ask me, that we have this come out. I am just seeing this video. It might have been going around for a bit. I'm just seeing it in the last 12 hours. We have this video starting to make the rounds, and they're tearing up the ground there. There is no way the bullet, and I'm going to show you, there is no way the bullet they are claiming hit Charlie, and he's just the man of steel, and that's why it didn't go all the way through. Nothing makes sense. There's a lot, actually, that doesn't make sense that they want us to believe that we're going to go into today. One, he's so smart that he receives a 34 out of 36 on his ACTs, but he's dumb enough to text all the details to this random Discord chat and his roommate. And if you were planning on being caught anyway, why jump from the roof and run away? Doesn't make sense. And talking about jumping from the roof, I had someone say to me, well, actually, it kind of looks like he might have something in his pants as he jumps from the roof. I don't know about you guys. I grew up a farm girl. I've jumped from a lot of haylofts that are 2 stories high. I've probably jumped from heights that I should have broken legs from. There is no way you have the gun that they are claiming was used in this shoved down your pants and you are jumping down from the top of a building with that there. You're just not. I don't believe it. No, I don't believe it. So that's another thing they want us to believe. We're actually going to go into, I have found his ACT records and test. Looks like his mom must have posted them and someone reshared them. We're also going to go into his school and the potential connections to the CIA. Number 2, they want you to believe that he pulled off this sniper level shot. And I get a lot of pushback, mostly from hunters, never military. Hunters in my DMs, right? Being like, actually, it's an easy shot. It's so easy. Well, let's see what some actual snipers say about taking that shot. So for this video, shout out to Black Scout Survival. SEAL sniper breaks down Charlie Kirk shooting. We are going to have a couple clips from this video here, and you're going to see a familiar face The sniper that we just saw in that video where the bullet's going past his knee is actually featured in this video as well. Let's play a couple clips from here.
Of Navy SEAL Commander Mark Devine, where he's discussing it, and he goes on to say that he definitely believes it is a professional hit. I also got my homeboy Jimmy Watson I'm going to bring on in a minute.
Jimmy Watson is who we have already shown the video of. I will put his Instagram in the show notes as well. Let's look at this clip that he found.
The assassination occurred suddenly when a sharp gunshot rang out across the university courtyard. While speaking to the crowd, Charlie Kirk was struck in the neck. Blood quickly appeared as he instinctively clutched his wound and collapsed from his chair. Investigations confirmed the bullet was fired from roughly 200 yards away. Given the elevation of the shooter's position, he had a clear and unobstructed line of sight to the stage where Kirk was addressing the audience. The bullet's trajectory descended steeply and precisely through open space to strike Kirk in the neck, strongly indicating the use of a scoped firearm designed for long-range accuracy.
Okay, so this is the diagram. You can leave this up, LJ, but basically Kirk was sitting here, and what we've been told is that he's sitting at the corner, or the shooter's at the corner of that building. So I guess how difficult, if you saw that, how difficult is this shot? They tell us it's 200 yards away, descending angle.
Very difficult from my perspective. And I can tell you right here that I probably wouldn't be able to make that shot.
Right now, or
have to be
at the height
right
of
now.
your training?
No, right now. I mean, not all SEALs are snipers.
Okay.
Right. In fact, only a small percentage of SEALs are snipers, and sniper training is very specialized. Right. There's a lot that goes into it. Honestly, like if you said, "Hey, Mark, you're going to go shoot this guy," like I would have to go back and do some serious research and literally spend countless hours with the right weapon, right, under tutelage on how to shoot.
But this kid, just because he grew up in Utah, can make the shot. And this has been something I've said from the beginning. A lot of people don't believe me. That's totally fine. Where a lot of the articles are justifying media manipulation, my friends, narrative control. Articles are justifying the fact that he's not a trained sniper by literally saying, well, it's Utah. He could have gone out in the bush and practiced the shot. I didn't believe it then. I don't believe it now. Let's look at some clips going a little bit further into this video. Again, it's a fantastic video. I will put the links so you guys can check out the full video. Please do. It's fantastic.
Well, first, I really appreciate Mark Devine's brutal honesty. You see a lot of guys get on and say it's an easy shot, and the guys that are saying that simply have never taken that shot. Now, they may have killed 100 prairie dogs a day like I did in West Texas when I was a kid, and you think that a 200-yard shot is easy. It's all tickles and pickles when the wind is right, when you're with your buddy.
So there you go. Again, professional snipers, Marines are saying that this is not the same as going in and taking out some game. So this is important as well. This is something I've been talking about, and was one of the first things that really made me question things of that kind of gun in an amphitheater. And when you look at any videos of witnesses that were in the process of being interviewed by journalists and news stations, when that shot fired, no one reacted. In fact, the only person that reacted right away was the guy that I showed you in the last video where he's adjusting his sweater or he's adjusting his sleeve. He's the only one that immediately reacted. Now, let's watch a little bit more because there's another piece of this that's really important and I've been thinking a lot about.
That's heard around the world, literally. A 30-06 is basically going to knock your feelings out if you're anywhere close to it, okay? So my point is, in the video, all right, we don't hear the report of a 30-06 from 200 yards away. If, in fact, it's a 30-06, I would say, based on my experience, that it was more like 500 yards away. That's the report you hear. It's like a poof, snap, right? But we don't hear that. So we have to. So for me, I'm trying to look at this logically. I'm not in this for the views. I'm in this for the truth.
I love what he says here. I'm going to play what he says here because this is my motivation as well.
And that creates the views, okay? We all have some sort of agenda out there. But if we lean more towards an agenda of truth, I think that we can speak on this authentically. And that's always my goal, is to lean towards an agenda of truth.
Will I always get it right? No, but I will always be here fighting for truth. And that I was not expecting to cover the Charlie Kirk case at all. I usually stay clear of politics. I was not expecting this. But when I saw the level of media manipulation, and we have a series coming on the channel, so please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit get notifications. We have a series coming on the channel exposing the CIA's infiltration into universities. You might want to put a pin on that for later in this episode. The arts, literature, Hollywood, clergy, and journalism. We have a series that's coming. I put that series off to feature and get involved in the Charlie Kirk, what I believe to be cover-up. But we have that coming. So as soon as I saw everything and the pieces starting to come into play here, I recognized it right away because this is something I study for fun. Apparently, I need a better hobby than having a farm. I study for fun are cover-ups and infiltration of the CIA. So I knew right away something wasn't right.
Bullet coming down, and it does line up with the actual gunshot itself.
We're not counting gang violence. Great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we see that.
Right. And I don't
So this is based off the video that I played yesterday.
want to get into specifics because there's freaking psychopaths.
This is really important. If you've been tuning me out, if you're cooking dinner, pay attention.
Weirdos watching this right now, okay? Excluding myself. All right. But here's the problem is that you have a very significant sound, and that sound, from my experience, is from inside a building. It's called recess loophole shooting, okay? The farther back in a room, and I'm trying not to say much, but the farther back in a room that I am as a sniper in an urban environment, the better. If I can be 2-3 rooms deep, all right, imagine you shoot from your bathroom, but you can see down the hallway and you got a space like this out the window's cracked open a little bit. You fire, that's the sound that you're going to hear. That's more along the lines of the sound that you're going to hear in the video that you heard, that pop. It's muffled. It's not silenced, but it's muffled like it's coming from an enclosed room. As you stated on the phone with me yesterday, I give you credit for saying this. It's an echo chamber. In any urban environment where you have buildings around or concrete and pavement, you're going to have this echo chamber that's going to bounce off of walls. A 30-06 man, you're going to hear that thing go boom at 200 yards, and then it's going to go boom, 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 snap. You understand? It doesn't do that. We have a very muffled boom like that.
It's so muffled that people don't hear it, don't even understand what's going on. Wait till you see the interview. Now, I'm going to share it through Valhalla VFT, one of my favorite channels. Spoke about him yesterday on the channel. And I'm going to share the interview there because I can't find it anywhere else, where people are being interviewed. And it takes time for them to click on what's going on because there's just not a loud sound.
That's from inside at least a room deep. I won't say that it's 2 or 3 rooms, but I'm saying it's recess shooting, that loophole shooting that I'm talking about. If that's the case, all right, then you have to lean more towards a professional did this. All right. I'm sorry. I didn't want to go down this route. Even in my original takes on these videos,
and he says he didn't want to go down that route. I don't think any of us truly are. Those that are in it for truth, none of us want to go down that route. Like I said, I didn't even want to cover this. I had a CIA series I was supposed to be premiering this week. But when you're in it for truth and you start to see all of these inconsistencies that don't add up, and now we're also adding, well, it's just, rural area gap in the transponder of that plane. Oh, it was just a glitch that allowed a book to be published and say it was published on September 9th when he wasn't assassinated till the 10th, even though it still doesn't make sense because it takes 3 to 10 days for you to get something actually live on Amazon after submitting it. It still doesn't make sense, but that's Amazon's cover. So you want me to believe that there's just all of these coincidences? No, I don't. And it's offensive to people that are calling those that are seeking truth conspiracy theorists now. All right, let's see. I believe I have 2 more timestamps I wanted to look at here.
In the bottom, I saw I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off.
Now, the video was sent to me that I talked about yesterday, and I'm not going to play it today. I might take some screenshots of it. It's incredibly graphic. It is incredibly graphic. You will never convince me it was a straight-on shot. I'm at the point, nearly at the point where you could give me the autopsy report, and I would be concerned that the autopsy report is fake, which apparently, from what we're being told, they didn't have an autopsy done. That's what we're being told right now. They didn't have an autopsy done. So it looks like we won't even get that anyway.
Now you saw how they stopped him. I want to be a truth seeker here. My point of view is as to why they stopped him. They're just angry, and like in the teams when a guy would die, with one of our swim buddies die, and I know you being in the Marine Corps and in the military, when things happen bad, and then somebody starts talking about it and opening their mouth about it, you're just like, hey man, shut the F up, bro. Like, shut up. And I think that's what we saw there. That's not like within the conspiracy realm. I think that's just a lot of fired up people that love Charlie Kirk, right?
Yeah, I can see that. I think the biggest thing to take away from that is where he heard the shot come from. And like you just said, we believe because of the bias they teach or told us, he was shot from the front. You're seeing it from that. But if you slow down and watch the footage, it looks like, especially with the blood coming like there was force coming this direction.
Right.
The video that I have, it was one of the first videos I saw, not by choice, that I have gained access to again. There is so much force coming out of the spot that the FBI wants you to believe is an entry wound. It just doesn't work like that.
And you make a great point. It's all about, the most accurate witness testimony is directly after it. This was probably taken just an hour. I don't even know. I don't want to speculate, but it was in very, very short time. You can see everybody's amped up. Okay. The first thing he says is, I heard a gunshot and I turned to look at it. Now, when I was in tons of firefights in Baghdad, Iraq,
pay attention to this, because this is something else that I noticed. No one looks behind them. This is really important.
The most frustrating things that I realized early on in big firefights was you could never tell where it came from because of the report and the echoing of the belt-fed machine guns in traffic circles where buildings are circling, that echo chamber we're talking about. Now, the only exception to this rule was if there was a one shot, like a sniper. Pop! Then all of a sudden you go like this. Left or right, wherever it comes from is exactly what you do. This guy is very, very clear that he heard it from the left side. And wherever he's standing, with the exception of maybe one spot in that crowd, if you put him in the front of the stage, which I believe is what he said, and it's a left turn like this, that's exactly where the new shooter theory is. That
Occam's razor, the most reasonable and simple explanation typically is. And yet here they are paving over the spot where he was assassinated, while also claiming that they are looking into everything. So we've discussed so far the things that you have to get past to believe the FBI. First, you have to not be concerned that they are already paving over that spot. You have to ignore what appears to be someone taking a shot behind his right-hand side, the exact same time you hear the pop. The bullet that appears to be whizzing by his left knee. You have to believe that he is so smart to receive a 34 out of 36 on his ACT and earn a scholarship to this university, but so dumb that he doesn't realize that he just confessed everything to randos in Discord and to his roommate. You have to ignore the fact that foreign plates were showing up at his house in the days leading up to September 10th. Now, foreign plates doesn't mean, I'm not pointing to anyone in particular. I'm just saying out of state. Sorry, I guess I should. I'm Canadian. So I guess you would call it out of state plates were showing up at his house. in the days leading up to this. So you have to overlook that. You have to overlook the fact that the sound doesn't match up with the gun that they are saying took the shot. You have to overlook the fact that this guy changed like 4 times allegedly, reassembled the rifle, disassembled the rifle, reassembled the rifle multiple times just to leave it fully assembled. You have to overlook the fact he's not a sniper, has no known history of hunting, even though the only people that are telling me that that shot's easy are hunters. Every sniper I've listened to has told me that it's not an easy shot. So you have to overlook all of that. You have to overlook the acoustics. You have to overlook that we are told he is the man of steel, and that is why the bullet stopped in his neck. Actually, that's a great segue over into Valhalla VFT's videos. We're going to play some clips over there. And again, I will drop the links. Love these 3 men, love their perspectives. I think they're fantastic. They all seem to be truth seekers, and that's what I am. And so that's why I'm featuring them. Let's flip over to Valhalla and look at a couple of his videos in regards to this. And he shows, just in case you don't know what that bullet looks like, we will also look at a clip in regards to that, because you will not convince me that bullet was stopped because he's a man of steel. I don't believe it.
He did get shot from behind. I think a lot of the evidence still pushes that way, right?
So he was comparing in this video, I should have given us a little bit of a lead up, 2 different videos. He says there might be conflicting whether he did or did not get shot from behind. And he says, I think the evidence still pushes that way.
But it's very possible that he could have got shot in the front. And if we're talking about no exit wound, okay, well, if he did get shot from the front, it definitely wasn't with this 30-06 round. So now where are we at? Something's not adding up in this official story, right? Either that's not the weapon, either that's not where he was shot from. Because if he did get shot, let's say he got shot from behind, right? And it traveled through and this is an exit wound. Well, the surgeon said the body was found in the skin. So that the surgeon story and that story don't work. And then if we want to talk about, oh, well, he was shot from the front. Okay. And the bullet didn't go through and we say the surgeon story is true. That's fine. But now the FBI story doesn't.
Look at the size of that bullet. That is like the size of my neck. I think you could throw that hard at my throat and it would go all the way through my neck if you had a good arm. There's no way.
Work with this 30-06. That's not possible. So we're kind of right back where we started, unfortunately. But I'll tell you, we could solve this. We could solve this case right now. I could solve this case by myself right now if they let me see the autopsy and if they let me see the high fidelity camera footage from right behind Charlie. Why? Because I would be easy. It would be just immediately be able to tell, well, if he got shot in the back of the head, we'd see the entrance and the exit wound. Well, if he didn't get shot in the back of the head and he got shot in the front, we'd be able to see just the entrance wound. Show me the bullet. I mean, you have the bullet. The surgeon said the bullet's there. I mean, a forensics expert would.
That's a good thing. A point too. They say the bullet's there. Where's the bullet? And I understand the argument that people say, well, you know, the FBI is not going to give everything away. If they really wanted to quiet some of the chatter, they could at least show the bullet.
Immediately be able to say this is a 5.56, a 2.23, a pistol round, whatever. And that high fidelity footage would show us a lot about potentially what happened back here. But the 2 things that we need to just...
I'll say this really quick because people are saying, well, Candace says she saw the video from behind. There are some people that have been to his events that messaged me and said that camera is actually, and I'm not calling Candace a liar, is focused on the crowd or who's speaking to him. So they said it's unlikely that camera even caught what was happening. So if it was zoomed in on people far away, it's possible it didn't even fully capture what was happening or at the time. Of course, that does conflict with what Candace is saying, but it's just something to keep in mind. That's what some individuals that have been to events messaged me and said.
Easily, I'm telling you, easily, not solve who did it, but solve how it was done are the 2 things we're not getting. And suspicions are now, from what I'm hearing, and I can't confirm this, is that no autopsy was done. Is that he was just immediately embalmed, and he was put on a plane and flown out with J.D. Vance, I think, the very next day.
And that's what I'm hearing as well. Word is starting to get out that apparently there was no autopsy done. Now, there's one other video of his I want to play a short clip of because, again, it's speaking to the fact that people weren't reacting. Like I said, you have to also get over the inconceivable truth that they're feeding us, the truth, I use that lightly, that it was just a pop. Let's hear what else he has to say.
I can't imagine any of you watching this are going, yep, sounds good. This kid just drove from 3 hours away. You know, rifle broke down in his backpack, his magic backpack, with his changes clothes. He goes to the roof, changes his clothes, reassembles the rifle, takes the shot with a 30-06 from 150 yards, which, by the way, this got me thinking. I watched this clip, and you guys might not think there's not that much to it, but I think there is. All right. You might think at first, oh, this isn't that big of a deal. So what we have here is a kid being...
This is the clip I was also trying to find, and I couldn't, and I knew he played it, and love to funnel people his way anyway because he has great content.
Being interviewed when the gunshot rings off and a little bit of an aftermath. I want you to watch it, and there was something I noticed about this. Okay, why is this important? You hear the gunshot ring off. It's not that loud. The kid being interviewed and the people behind him don't even flinch. They don't move. They don't go, what the was that? I'll play it again.
It almost sounds like a car backfiring. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't sound to me like a gun.
All those people still on the balcony. One kid kind of just like, what was that? Kid being interviewed didn't even sound like he even heard it. You guys realize that's basically an amphitheater, right? Dug down into the ground, big buildings everywhere. The acoustics on this would be insane. You guys realize if a 30-06, and we know it wasn't a suppressed 30-06, we've seen the FBI picture of the weapon. If a 30-06 would have gone off within 100 meters or so of these kids, everyone in that amphitheater would have immediately gone, ooh, it would have sounded like a bomb going off. But these kids didn't even flinch, which tells me it was most likely a small caliber round or a suppressed round, be it a pistol round, be it a suppressed 5.56 round. That's what that reaction tells me. That reaction from those kids, none of them barely even flinched when that gunshot went off.
So we have multiple people that have experience in military, experienced snipers saying, you know, either it's not what they said it is, or the last video we watched said it's still not what they say it is, but it might be muffled because the shooter, the actual shooter, is rooms deep or inside of a room taking the shot. But everyone that I'm watching that has experience as a sniper or in the military is saying the sound, the apparent alleged entry wound, none of it adds up. So we have to get over all of this to believe the FBI. Now I'm going to share his scores on the ACT as well. Let's flip over to that. So I found these over on Instagram, and it looks like, unless someone forged it, but this is the test result score that has been going around. Looks like a student report card. Tyler Robinson, he got a 34 out of 36. That's top 1 to 2%. This earned him, and it looks like this was taken as a screenshot, had back to school date number 2 with this man, child of mine, and didn't get a single picture. This was a rough one since it's his senior year. We met with his guidance counselor and started talking colleges. This boy is a genius, and I'm hoping he'll pick a Utah college and stay close to his mama. He killed the ACT and has a 4.0, so his options are endless. So I'm guessing someone snagged this from his mom's Instagram, maybe. Now, tomorrow we are going to go deeper into his education because he did get a scholarship to Utah State University. Something that's been brought to my attention and people have been letting me know is that Utah State University has what's called CAI. CIA, Intel, defense speakers regularly speak to the CAI program. But also, from what I can find, recruitment happens there. And hey, I'm not saying he was recruited by the CIA. I am just bringing information forward. What I can say is that in my research, there have been files that have been released over the years that have shown that the CIA has recruited at universities. I'm not saying that's what happened here, but I'm saying that those files exist, that it has happened. So he went to this university for only one semester in 2021. Tomorrow, we're going to go over the speakers that were there, the courses he would have had to take if he took the CAI program. There's been no confirmation of that. It's suspected. We're going to go deeper into that. But you mean to tell me a perfect GPA, near perfect ACT with full ride scholarship, he, after one semester, leaves to return home where he took up an electrical apprenticeship at Dixie Technical College? And I'm not saying smart people don't commit crimes. In fact, if you look back at a lot of serial killers and criminals, they are very intelligent, genius level sometimes. But what I'm saying is it doesn't add up. Something doesn't add up. And how many coincidences can you put together before it starts to smell? Before you start to say the official answers that I'm being given don't make sense. But wait till you see some of the information that I found on the CAI program. We'll dive into it tomorrow. But I hope this video today helped to show you that this just doesn't make sense. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit get notifications so you know when that video drops tomorrow. And in the comments, please be kind. Do not attack each other here. That doesn't fly on this channel. But I'd like to hear your thoughts. Can you get over all these inconsistencies to say, yeah, the FBI narrative makes sense? And also make sure you like, subscribe, and hit get notifications because we do have an expose series on the CIA coming. It's just a matter of being able to film it. All right. With that, my friends, I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys. What I found, nobody wants to hear.